Okay, so truthfully, we got a very interesting matchup here. This, I would say, is not the strength of either player by any means, but it could very well lead to a very fun game. Spawning here in the lower right corner of the map, he's purple, he's Protoss. He's best known for his random, or not Protoss, I'm saying Zerg. He's best known for his random. It's the purple Zerg player, Balloon.
And at the top right, we've got its opponent, the red Protoss player, known for his Terran. It is going to be Jjakji.
So I think right now, for Jjakji after watching that last game, I wouldn't call his PvP bad by any means, or his Protoss bad by any means. Maybe his PvP is a little bit shaky, and we saw some very distinctive things from Balloon that kind of just cut deep. But his Protoss, I think, is really going to get tested on this one, because versus Zerg, this is kind of like the Protoss match. This is like, you think of Alien Wars and movies, like this is what you would think of, Zerg versus Protoss. And Jjakji, if he's been paying attention to results lately, if he pays attention to build orders, chances are I mentioned he'll go with like the most standard of standard, if not like a gateway attack, probably the Stargate opener.
Sorry, I actually just didn't hear like the second half of that.
Oh, I was gonna say, if Jjakji doesn't open this with like some gateway aggression, I'm feeling he'd go with the safe build, so like a Stargate opener.
I think that would be a really good choice here. Phoenixes are something that I really like to see in PvZ at the moment, and he's actually going to get the scout off first, so he's going to know exactly what his opponent is. And because he's going to see a hatchery, he could actually delay and not show Balloon just what race he is. And no, actually no, yeah, he's not going to show him the race he is just yet. Balloon has his Overlord going in the right direction, so he'll know soon enough. But any extra time that you can buy is nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of this matchup. Let's not forget that the dynamics of random versus random, guys, is it really affects your openers. Again, you may want to go for something like lifting off to the gold base, but without knowing what your opponent is, that can always be a dangerously stupid move. Same goes for any other matchup. Jjakji may have intended to go for cannon rushes right off the bat, but that may not have worked out if Balloon had spawned Protoss once again. Balloon as well at the same time. You can't really plan for a 13 speedling opener or anything if you don't know that your opponent's not Terran.
And we did actually...
You could, but you shouldn't.
Yeah. We did actually see Jjakji has his probe hiding a little bit, but that was spotted by Balloon's Overlord, so he should know that this is coming his way. Whatever that is for, probably just a proxy pylon. Or just a later scout. We do have a Nexus coming down in the low ground here for Jjakji as well. And Jjakji is... I haven't seen that much of his PvZ because I don't really watch that much when he's playing Protoss. I just kind of go, oh, look, he's playing Protoss. But the couple of games that I have watched him play in its entirety, he has really good force fields, and he really likes Immortal Sentry.
Well, Balloon pulled off of gas already, so just going straight to that fast speed. This could be rough for Jjakji. He needs to get that proper wall down. He needs the SimCity, and if he sends his mothership core across the map to be harassed on top of probes, that means it's not going to be home and ready to shoot those Zerglings. It's not even about the overcharge so much as it is the fact that the Zerglings can't shoot up, and it will just get free damage.
Yeah, and at this point...
Oh, there's no forge.
We're going to know soon.
Ooh, that means no cannon. This could be really rough, actually, if this is going to be a... I don't know if this will be a speedling all-in out of Balloon, by any means. We'll see as he starts cutting
I don't think
lava.
It will be. This is pretty standard here. It's not too weird to play.
It's...
But...
Right, but it's not about the build, right? It's about Balloon. It's about his strategies.
That too? Oh, Jjakji's got to be careful with his mothership core. Okay, he will be. But Jjakji is going for a 4-gate follow-up here. The Chrono Boost on the should tell Balloon all he needs to know. And he is immediately putting more Lings in production here, getting up to 10. He should try to find this pylon here, which is coming down by his third base. But it doesn't look like he knows just where it is yet. Going to start looking around with these 4 Lings, starting a Roach Warren as well. Good timing on that, too. He's going to need some Roaches to hold this, because pure Lings trying to hold a lot of Zealots is going to be a little bit rough.
Ooh, actually, this hole in the wall unplugged at the moment. That sentry was chasing down the Overlord. But I guess it works out. Oh, I forgot something. I guess the Overlord was technically first blood, guys. Sorry, I was trying to catch it, but then the Lings got in, and it got messy, and I'm sorry. But Zealot warped into the hole, so we'll hold the line for the time being. But here we go, starting to warping down here. Hopefully he doesn't send these in too early. Again, the idea is kind of you wait till you get about 6 or 7. If you send in just 3, it's kind of like, well, Lings can actually deal with it.
You can send in 3 if you have the Mothership Core with them, but the Mothership Core is not there yet, so he's going to want to wait a bit. And Balloon's going to find this one pylon, which is really nice, actually, because that will...
It's almost like bait.
Well, it's going to supply cap him, Jjakji as well. Not completely, but it's going to force him to at least spend a little bit more money on on pylons here, and I think Balloon's going to be forced to sacrifice his third base and just take his other third most likely.
Yeah,
there's a lot of zealots here.
The roaches aren't going to get here in time either, is the problem. But if he keeps drawing Jjakji's attention away, that may change. On the way, he can certainly fight 3 roaches, 6 roaches even to a degree. Time Warp's going to help a little bit with this. I kind of wish he would have left 1 zealot on the hatchery, because if he fights these roaches, he's not going to get the hatchery.
Although he could warp in a couple more, and he is going to do that, send those to the hatchery most likely. The zealots are doing a decent job here, and the hatchery will go down, but not before the queen comes out here. So, the queens actually are saved on the high ground, though, and this hatchery will die, but it's a heavy, heavy loss.
Well, it was a little bit of slobber from Jjakji too, though. He lost his mothership core, and it's not about losing it because, you know, oh no overcharge, but more so about the gas you have to spend replacing it. I mean, there's some Protoss players who don't even bother replacing it after a certain amount of time in the game, but I think recall, overcharge, time warp, they're all such powerful tools that you want to have available to you.
Yeah, and we will see the third base reestablished here for Balloon. We've also got a Robo coming up for Jjakji behind us, so I think we could see an Immortal all-in follow-up, and it's not unlikely. Not impossible, rather. We could see an expansion play, but knowing the little versus Zerg I've seen Jjakji play, and the fact that he's chronoing Immortals, I'm leaning more towards an Immortal all-in.
It's been kind of joked around in the past. It's like, okay, you know, do it easy mode, but it is effective. The problem with the Immortal Sentry all-in, though, is the timing in which it hits is usually scary. It's usually early. It will time out, I think, here because Balloon's lair was so delayed trying to get that third base up, pumping all that gas into roaches. He's certainly not going to have Hydralisks. He needs to bait force fields in the middle of the map. I think if he doesn't do that, then he's not going to really have a good chance to hold this off.
Yeah, and also in vertical spawns, Immortal Sentry is very strong. It's very difficult to hold. Jjakji will pick up a roach there on the retreat. And from here, his second Immortal's ready to go. Is he going to go with 2 Immortals? Probably. And yeah, there's a Warp Prism queued up behind that. So it is going to be the Warp Prism now. Up to 6 gateways.
I like that he's gone for the Warp Prism too. It's going to be very difficult to get pylons out against a player like Balloon. You're going to want to bring a probe with you anyways, but it's not a guaranteed set. And the pylons can be picked off even. Whereas the Warp Prism, there's not going to be any Hydralisk out soon. But the Hydralisk then has been started. So hopefully he can get these out in time. If not, this third base may go down once again.
I don't know why Jjakji's turning around. That's actually going to buy time for these 2 spines to finish.
Ooh,
and all 2 spines is not the end of the world. More importantly, it's going to buy more time for roach speed. It's going to buy more time for more roaches, and it's going to buy more time for more Zerglings, which is all stuff that Balloon needs to try to hold this. And I think Balloon does need to try to hold it at his third, because it's going to be very, very difficult once Jjakji gets up that ramp to hold this off.
Alright, well, that's 11 sentries in this composition. That's a lot of force fields. These roaches should not be able to connect very well to the army. Nice force fields out of Jjakji. You said he's got good ones, and you were not lying, sir.
Nah, the Zealots go down. Actually, a couple of the roaches get through. It's enough for the Immortals to deal with before any sentries go down, though. Balloon forced to evacuate here, pulling all of his drones to the high ground. He's still got another spine up there, which is going to be nice. 8 Hydralisks on the way will add a lot of DPS to this army, but 3 of them are being produced at that hatchery down there, so if Jjakji just camps that, they will die.
I feel like one of the big problems, too, on top of that, yeah, kicking a 3 Hydralisks here is big. He didn't really force a lot of force fields out of Jjakji. Jjakji's still coming here strong with 14 sentries that all have enough energy to force field.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to push up this ramp against Hydralisks, but at the same time, this army that Jjakji has is just absolutely gigantic. And Jjakji's got to be careful because +1 is done in a couple of seconds here. And good force field.
Protoss Fruit Ninja, man. Just like, it's like he's dragging his finger across the screen, and he lands all those force fields so perfectly. The Hydras are so down from a lot of this.
Connect. That's a bit of an issue.
The Zealots may not be able to connect, but they were soaking the hits for the sentries that were on the auto attack instead of the hold position, as we see a little too close to the Hydras, but Balloon feeling the necessity to pull everything. All those force fields have kind of gone at this point. Hydra is looking to push back into Jjakji, and the Immortals and the sentries are starting to go down. He might only be on 2 bases, but...
Oh, is he going to snipe it? He snipes the Warp Prism with the Immortals in it!
Ooh. Oh. I'm tearing and that hurts.
Yeah, that's brutal here, and now looks like Jjakji just did not hit the timing there before the Hydra critical mass was hit, and
I think
once you get to this huge amount of Hydralisks, the DPS is just so huge.
I think a big part of that too was, as you point out, accommodation of the Hydras, but that drone pull was like the just barely like buffer he needed for those units to break that. Now for Balloon, it's really important he doesn't over-dedicate here as well. Let's not forget it's a bit scary. Jjakji going for a time warp instead of an overcharge. Ooh.
Yeah, a bit of a questionable decision, but at this point as well, another questionable decision is for Balloon to try to push on in here.
I think he kind of can, though. He's got double the army supply.
Oh, is he going to cancel the warp? And he does, and unpowers 3 gateways.
Ooh.
Nice little moves.
Of course, for Jjakji, he's only got 7, so this is now 3 gateways he has to work with. Warp and reinforcements are kind of a big deal when you need buffer for Immortals. Immortals do hit pretty hard, but no bonus versus Hydralisk. 20 damage, 21, or what's he got? 22 because 1 up. Yeah, 22 damage is still a lot, but the Hydralisk DPS, if those get in range of the Hydras, those Immortals are going to go down. I like this high ground warping out of Jjakji, though. Really intelligent.
Yeah, really, really nice play out of him. And this game is far from over despite Balloon holding that push. The fact of the matter is that he's got to retreat with slow Hydralisks, and I think the better option is just to turn around and try to focus down as many Stalkers as he can.
Yeah, well, you know, he's actually getting pretty close to creep, though. Once he gets some creep, he'll be okay.
True. Looks like he will survive with 6.
It is.
Behind us, though, Jjakji's still up by 20 supply. There's only 2 bases here for Balloon. He's still got a good amount of workers here. A lot of Hydras, but that's his entire army. He doesn't really have much of a buffer. He may have to pull the drones again. Ah, no, but Jjakji's going to expand.
Look at that resources lost, too. Oh, my God.
Wow.
You don't often see, like, in Protoss versus anything really, you don't see a lot of trading go off too often. Because a lot of the times it's either you've got an army that's big enough to win, or you lose everything and you kind of lose in the counterattack. But, yeah, as you said, that wasn't the end of the game by any means. Still standing in this. With that third base coming up, Jjakji really needs to set his goals on starting to get Colossus out, though. The Hydralisk count was revealed long ago. Sitting on, like, Blink Stalkers, I mean, it'll help a little bit, but it won't win the game. And there we go, Robo Bay's been started.
Now, I'm interested to see what Balloon decides to do here. He is expanding. He'll probably get a bunch of drones when that finishes up as well. Getting a lot of Hydras is important for him because he hasn't actually noticed that there is a third base. Now he's going to notice, and from there he can afford to drone or try to push and try to cancel this or something. As you said, the army composition for Jjakji is not the greatest to deal with the composition of Balloon. Of course, the army size is just like gigantically in... Actually, it's in Balloon's favor because the worker supply of Jjakji's up at 80. I didn't expect that.
It doesn't have mules to drop, man. It's just got to make a lot of workers.
Oh, you have a bit of a warp in here from this warp prism. Going to try to shred away at this base. Not going to do too much. Zealots in the main also being kited around. Warp prism goes down. Good focus fire there from Balloon. Jjakji only up by 7 workers and still up by about 35 units here, and it looks like Balloon may just go for it with Hydraling and with no Colossi out just yet, and just way too many workers.
I think the timing on this is going to be perfect for...
I think so. At the best, there's going to be 1 rangeless Colossus. Blink is going to be done.
There's kind of that joke about calling the boys, TV, anything, and kind of... to some extent, I almost wish you'd do it here. The Hydralisk count is so fantastic at the moment, and as you said, Colossus not quite here, does pop out. A bit awkward as its range is equal to that of the Hydralisk without that extended thermal lance, and it does go down very, very quickly. However, these forces of Jjakji seem to have spread out the Hydralisk just enough to start trading out again. Will this be enough to hold? He's got Warpins behind this, another Colossus on the way, but this is looking like it might just be the end of Jjakji's life. Lings are flooding in to buffer for the Hydralisk, and let's not forget their DPS is so difficult to tango with.
Yeah, 1 immortal left here. It's out of shields. The Lings are going to shred away at that. Jjakji's still up in supply, but it's almost all in workers here.
Denied.
Yeah, and this is looking really, really rough as the Hydras just don't have any real answer at the moment. There's more and more units streaming across the map. The Immortal getting focused to an extent. Really good Blink micro out of Jjakji, though. Wow.
Right? He's retaining a lot of these units way longer than he should, but at this stage, at this point, even though he's got that crazy economy, he doesn't exactly have 10 gateways. He doesn't have 2 robos. He doesn't have the production to really bully that of Balloon. And Balloon, he's kind of let up on streaming units across the map, but all he needs is like a good handful of Lings, and he can just push in here.
Oh, he's going to try to go for it again. The Immortal will be focused down. There's that handful of Lings. The Immortal's still standing with almost no hit points. Down it finally goes. The Stalker's trying to hold strong. Looks like they finally are going to go down. Jjakji finally below in supply. A lot of that supply is still in the workers over at the third base, though. The Mothership Core will survive. Looks like he's going to try... Oh, actually, the Mothership Core... yeah, will survive for now. Natural base being ransacked.
You know, again, the natural base being compromised looks a little scary, but let's not forget, well, this has been absolutely ravaged and this demolished 32 workers dead. Jjakji's still got a third behind us. Oh, Mothership Core goes down, though. I was going to say, like, the Overcharge may be able to push this back if he could wait for it, but no Time Warp, no Overcharge, just Blink Stalkers. If he had level 3 weapons already complete, this would be actually a very good fight for Jjakji. He may still be able to just barely whittle his way out of this first round of Hydras, but, oh, those +3 weapons are so close to finishing Penguin.
GG is called, and Balloon ties it up 2-2. And that's our first non-mirror of the day.
Yeah, actually.
That was a really close game. That was ridiculous.
I love the back and forth of it.